the top 5 Skyrim mods of 2019. In this video, we're going to be looking at a best of the best. Some of the premier or most appealing mods to release for Skyrim/Skyrim Special Edition in the past year. A lot of times when I do these top 5 videos, and especially the yearly ones, I do mention that it is subjective. It's what in my eyes are the top 5. Some of the mods I enjoyed the most, but I think will also have the biggest impact and appeal with the game. As such, some of you may not agree with my picks on this one. I would say with this video, more so than most, you might see a few surprises. But hey, I do encourage you guys to comment down below your own top 5 or something you feel like should have been in this video but wasn't. And to totally clarify, what I'm counting as a potential candidate for this video is any mod released in 2019, and specifically new mod releases. I'm not including mod updates. But with that being said, hopefully you guys found this video informative. If you haven't been playing Skyrim, there's definitely some stuff in here to start a new playthrough with. But moving forward, without a doubt, the first mod to talk about is Carved Brink. This was easily one of the largest mods to come out of 2019. It is a new quest and adventure mod, and definitely should be classified as a DLC-sized experience. Carved Brink will take you to some totally new and unique locations and meet some very interesting new characters. And this is actually, I would say, one of the focal points of this mod. It's not just a new keep or some kind of new village or city, it is a genuinely different and unique landscape. It is not like Skyrim in any way whatsoever, it is something totally separate. Even down to something as simple as the transportation method. And even further, many of the characters you do encounter and meet through this one are interesting but in a different way. And I think that's what made this mod stand out to me more so than some of the others. It checks all the boxes as far as quality goes. The voice acting is on point.
Hey, good looking. Check again. Seeing clear? Me is a shell. But I, mister, this happened because sin me aran. Well, let me put it this way. The elf decided keeping me in a cage was a smart thing to do.
There are a ton of new and custom voiced NPCs all throughout it, and at no point was I like, oh, that voice acting really took me out of it or wasn't up to par. Of course, as you are seeing in the background, it does feature a totally new and custom landscape, and a couple of new locations within this to explore, but also a unique way of getting around, and it really was that uniqueness that made me love this so much. It wasn't applying the same set of rules that you saw with Skyrim. Large in part, they were the same, but every once in a while there was a mechanic switch up or something different that you weren't expecting that kept me interested in wanting to see more. This is definitely one of those quest mods that has a focus on characters and story, and interest and curiosity through that. There's combat, but not a ton of it. That definitely didn't feel like the focal point. It definitely is a great one and not just a run-of-the-mill new experience in Skyrim. This one actually does things differently. And with this one in particular, if you like what you're seeing, they actually have more on the way. As at some point in 2020, there are plans for a full game release based in Skyrim's engine. Next up, we do have the Guard's Armor Replacer. For a lot of you, this will probably be a surprising one. Going from something as large and massive as Carved Brink, a full-on DLC-sized experience, to something as simple as just new guard armor, seems like a major jump, and it might be weird that this has a spot on this list. But really, the reason this mod is so cool is 1, the impact it has on the world of Skyrim, but 2, the intricacies of it. So at its core, what this will do is make it so now in Skyrim, all the guards won't just have different colors of effectively the same armor. Now as you go from city to city, you will find guards wearing different things, and those things are representative of their location. In the rich city of Solitude, you're going to find a well-decorated and nicely designed plate armor, which is in stark contrast to the lowly armor you'll find in Morthal, featuring a more typical leather armor. You could find similar customizations to this all throughout the major keeps of Skyrim. Many different armor types specifically designed for the inhabitants of those locations. So on one hand, I think these armors just look cool, and it's one of those things that maybe you don't realize it at first, but mods like this are the ones that you keep around for repeat playthroughs because they give Skyrim a fresh look and feel. After downloading this and just playing the game naturally, not focusing on this mod, you'll realize how many times you've passed by that old, boring armor. Because you'll see this one stop and be like, oh yeah, that does actually look pretty cool. Separately, I think this also doubles as just a cool armor mod. It's integrated in a natural way, so of course you can get it just by taking down guards. Or during certain quests focused around some of these locations, you may find yourself getting a special set of some of these armors. And definitely has attention to detail where even some of the notable NPCs have their own unique variants. All in all, it's a really great one of those mods that you'll download now and likely keep on Skyrim for a very long time to come. But if guard armor has a big impact on your game and overall experience, something that may even have a larger impact is the weather. So next up, we do have Cathedral weathers and seasons. So a little fun fact, initially with this video, I went through most of it actually using a different mod, planning to include a different mod in this spot. But all the while, in the background, I was including Cathedral weathers as just a backup, something I wanted to test out anyway. And well, using it throughout this video, filming this with it, actually convinced me, no, this deserves the spot instead. So Cathedral weathers at its core is a new weather mod for Skyrim. But one of the unique aspects of this one is it's new, only coming out in 2019, and as such can learn a lot from past weather mods, and in fact is built off the otherwise very popular Obsidian weathers, but also really built with an ENB in mind. Overall, it does all the things weathers do. It has several custom weathers for Skyrim, new types of rain and fog and sound effects to go along with them. It does have some visual effects and changes to Skyrim in general. I would say this one has a colder vibe, which is very fitting for the overall climate that was intended for this game, but also one of the very major impacts of this is it'll change the sky textures, both during the day and at times at night. And these can be very powerful, especially at night, to have a very vibrant and glowing sky that will really draw your attention just by how good it looks. There's some other features like getting to customize the weathers or climate and other cool things this mod does, but really the reason it earned a spot on this list is when you pair Cathedral weathers and seasons with an appropriate ENB, and there are several options out there. Specifically in the background I'm using Silent Horizons. It is one of the best looks I think I've ever had in Skyrim. And to be clear with this one, the only two mods I'm using are Cathedral weathers and Silent Horizons ENB. There's a few others that are dependent on those, but outside of that, there are no other visual or texture mods going on here. In just a 2-mod combo, I think you could get a very attractive Skyrim, which was definitely possible, but it feels like with Cathedral weathers, this is the definitive mod. This is the weather mod you're going to want to be using. It replaced Obsidian weathers, which already was one of the best, but replaced it by making improvements, building off what was already there. This part is naturally pretty subjective. Do you like what you see? I do. I like that colder look and really the aesthetic this is going for, but of course if you don't, you may really not like this mod. But then next up we have what is, to me, the most controversial on this list, and that is WABBAJACK. No, not that WABBAJACK. The mod list auto-installer WABBAJACK. So this is an interesting one. There's definitely some back and forth around this, but in effect, what it does is give you automated mod list installation for Skyrim, Fallout, and many other games. But I would say in particular with this one, it is most on display with Skyrim. So this has definitely been controversial in the community for a variety of reasons. Mod authors being against tools like this, or being against WABBAJACK's implementation or feature set, and even some community members, although finding it cool, agree that it's not for them. Some people enjoy building out mod lists. But the reason I personally view this as one of the best mods of 2019 is, one, the developers behind this one have been progressively and steadily adding updates to make the tool overall more useful for users, but also less controversial among those who dislike it, actually taking in feedback from both sides, which you really do have to respect. And even further, it's actually created some interesting mod lists that probably would appeal to somebody like you, yes, you watching. Mod lists for Skyrim that just give you the essential mods. Just about everything you need, so thus you could build on top of it. Or separately, where I think this is the most on display is with those heavy several hundred mod load orders. So you could play an ultra modded Skyrim, have a totally transformed experience, but don't have to spend hours upon hours or even days with some of these load orders getting it all to work. It is definitely not a perfect tool, and it is definitely not for everyone, but I think this definitely deserves one of these spots as a mod of the year because it has a real potential at changing how modding is done in the future, and how easy it is for just some random dude to play highly modded Skyrim that they see in a video. And I'm really excited to see what happens in 2020 with tools like this. But then before we get to the last mod on this list, which for me is the mod of the year, the single best release of 2019, I do want to mention two honorable mentions. Arcanum is an incredible magic mod that came out this year. It's not quite complete, affecting each magic category. And if this list went up to 6, it would definitely be on here. It is a really fun mod, but until it gets the rest of its updates, I'm holding off for giving it a spot. And then separately, the Archery gameplay Overhaul does totally transform Archery in Skyrim, something that a lot of us probably enjoyed already, but this will make it significantly more fun and give it an additional level of depth. Both of those were really good, but didn't quite make my cut for this video, or I didn't think they were as impactful as some of these other mods. But then last but not least, an easy top pick that I think most people can agree on is Wintersun, Faiths of Skyrim. This is one of those mods that comes along only every few months or even every few years now, that you start to play with and you realize, oh wow, this is actually incredible. It should have been a feature to begin with, and Bethesda probably wish they thought of this. Wintersun's actually a very simple mod. Now, in Skyrim, there is religion. Upon spawning in as a certain race, you can subscribe to a faith, and then as you do certain things for that faith, whether it be prayer or certain activities that could be causing chaos or even doing nice things for other people in Skyrim, you will gain following with that faith, which will give you certain in-game bonuses. And once you reach 100% following, you can get a very powerful extra bonus. So at its core, it's very simple, but the reason this is such a cool mod is one, how comprehensive it is. Depending on which race you start as, or how evil or good you are in game, you'll have different options to different religions with different bonuses. It's like a whole new aspect to consider when choosing your starting race, but then also building out your character. You want to find the best synergies or get some of those very powerful devotee bonuses. There are going to be shrines placed all throughout Skyrim, and these are integrated in a very natural and lore-friendly way. Again, like something that just felt like it always should have been there. But if you do maintain your faith and stay on the appropriate path for the deity you're praying to, you will get sometimes some very, very strong bonuses. At times, this may come at the cost of your faith, so you can only use it once or twice, and then you'll have to pray or work your way back up to gaining it again. Other times, deities will treat you randomly, like some of the Daedric princes, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen, or you may lose favor faster with them if you don't do exactly what they wish. And just overall, I feel like with this one, the mod author found a really good balance of complexity, but also simplicity. It's easy to get into, there's not a ton to read about or research, just pick a faith and start doing the things it tells you. But at the same time, if you want to find those perfect synergies, or for some of the more rewarding faiths, there definitely is a deeper level there. And just all around, it's one that, again, I think a lot of people will download and literally never uninstall. But either way, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you guys found it enjoyable. Hopefully you guys download some of the mods I suggest or talk about in this one. I do have links to everything down below. And separate from that, I will have a few other Skyrim videos coming out over the next few months. So if you are interested, you can get subscribed, as again, those are in the way. But with all that being said, I thank you for watching and I hope to see you all next time. Later.